To think that a man of this low ilk has so much power is beyond comprehension.
The senator from Minnesota going to tell us which episode that was?
I don't know. That's why I was asking. If I knew, I wouldn't have asked her.
Absolutely disgusting. We have no real judges anymore, no real Congress anymore, and no real president anymore. Is there a nation anymore? This is what happens when you put unqualified people into positions of authority or power. It doesn't matter whether it's the president in this case, where the extremes are even more apparent, or if an affirmative action appointee winds up as a police chief, or an affirmative action appointee winds up as a fireman, a chief of a fire department, or an affirmative action appointee winds up running this company or that division and they're unqualified or incapable of doing it. It's the same result at the end of the day. You're watching an affirmative action president pushing an agenda that does not belong in America. It's foreign to America. It's destroying America. It's punishing the successful. We better put that aside for a minute. Pelosi's problems with the CIA and her attacks upon that body have been up and down for as long as I can remember. Now more people are jumping into the fray. This past weekend, Eric Holder, our Attorney General, said he might look into prosecuting the CIA. Joining us now is James Carafano, who has been watching the story for us.
Michael, great to be with you. Here's what I want to talk about. It's called ping pong politics. Ping pong sounds like a fun game, except when you're playing with national security. Then it's a really bad idea. So what we have here is kind of the Obama soap opera in 4 chapters. I mean, and just look what has happened over the last couple of months. It's really breathtaking. It's almost unprecedented in the history of national security. So the first thing that happens is the administration, releases some memos, and they say, oh, look, all this interrogation stuff that we were doing under Cheney didn't work, and it was bad. Right. And then, of course, Cheney comes out and says, we'll just release all the memos. Let's look at all the facts. And the president doesn't want to do that. And he says, oh, but don't worry. He says, we're not going to be prosecuting anybody in the CIA. Maybe we'll have a special prosecutor. Maybe we won't. Very equivocal. OK, so now we race forward a month. And then you have Pelosi saying, oh, well, I didn't know about any of this. And then you have Leon Panetta said, well, no, you were briefed. And she says, no, the CIA lied. He said, no, you're lying. Right. And so, again, then we throw Cheney's name out there again, because somehow that people like to do that, special prosecutors again. And then it comes back again. So over the weekend, we have Newsweek comes out with a story. It says, oh, by the way, Holder, the attorney general, may want to have a special prosecutor, which the administration said, well, we don't think we want to have. And we're going to investigate the CIA, which the president said, oh, we're not going to do that. And so nobody knows what's going on there, but we all know it's Cheney's fault. And then finally, we have there's this covert CIA program, and Congress wasn't briefed, and it's all, quote unquote, Cheney's fault. And then we find out that, oh, well, maybe Congress did authorize this program. Oh, and, maybe they didn't have to fully inform Congress on it, because then they didn't actually do anything with it. But then, of course, you have all these partisan voices in Congress say, oh, no, we were lied to, and it's all Cheney's fault.
Unbelievable.
Well, this is incredible. So in less than that, in 3 months, we've had 4 major scandals. We've had the president and the administration flip-flop 4 or 5 times yet. We have people in the CIA who don't know if they're going to be thrown to the wolves. Or if the president's going to stand up for him. All we're doing is talking about Cheney, who last time I checked is living in some vacation home somewhere. He's been out of office for a year and has nothing to do with keeping this country safe. We're not talking at all about what the administration is doing. We're not talking all about what the president was doing. Oh, by the way, Guantanamo Bay is not going to be closed by January. That was just a flat lie on the part of the president to make people happy. They don't know what to do with these guys any more than the Bush administration did. Literally, we don't know what they're doing. They keep changing their story. That's why I like the term ping pong politics, because there's just going back and forth, which, again, sounds like a fun game, unless you're in the CIA and you're out there putting your life on the line every day and you're worried about, are people going to back me up? And the sad thing is, this has nothing to do with the law, right? If somebody broke the law, it's wrong. They should be tried. If somebody tortured somebody, it's against the law. Torture's against the law. They should be tried, right?
Exactly.
You don't need politics. You don't need politicians to be debating this. You don't need special prosecutors. if there's a crime, go out, investigate, arrest somebody. That's it. That's not what's going on here. This is about playing politics and trying to make run the next presidential campaign running against Vice President Cheney and President Bush. And it's just wrong. It's wrong because it turns national security into partisan politics. It's wrong because it distracts people from the real issues, which is, are we doing what we need to do today to keep the nation safe? And it's wrong because it's making the men and women who are out on the front lines trying to defend us look over their shoulder and not even knowing if they're going to get a fair deal or not. It really bothers me, and I wish politicians would get out of this business of playing politics with national security and let the people who have the responsibility for keeping us safe go back to work. But thanks for having me, Michael, and thanks for caring about issues like this because they're really, really important. Thanks.
Thanks for keeping score on this for us, James. Now, what is the answer to all of this? I don't have an answer. I'd rather talk about the magic of eggplant, if you'd rather do that. Eggplant is one of my favorite dishes. The black or bluish-black skin of the eggplant, from the homeopathic viewpoint, is actually protective of your skin. I know it sounds absurd, but if you look at the doctrine of signatures and like cures like, I happen to like eggplant. Most restaurants don't know how to cook it. They give you raw eggplant. Last night, case in point, went into a restaurant. I ordered eggplant, came out uncooked. I said, okay, let's start again. Can you send it back this time and cook it so it's edible? I'm not a goat. A goat can eat this. Okay, it comes back and it's cold. Ordered a steak, lukewarm and cold. Nice people, though, very nice. Good thing I had 2 vodkas before the meal. Went out on my boat in the dark. What am I going to do? Time I got home from dinner, I went down to the water and went out on my little boat, my 20-foot boat. Put the lights on. It's nice going out on a boat at night. The whole world looks different. There's no Obama. There's no media. There's no television. There's no computer. It's kind of eternal. To shut the lights off on the boat and just be out on a black waterway, and you see the lights of the houses and the lights of the shore. Very, very beautiful. Very, very seductive. If I had to do it all over again, I think I would be a merchant seaman or something like that. Probably would have gone in the Navy, but I wouldn't have lasted. I wouldn't have lasted because of the conformity. I can't conform to groups. I can't group think, and I can't yes sir anybody. That's the problem. I guess that's why this grizzled old guy wound up in front of a microphone, and here I am 15 years later. This is the way I am. It's one man's opinion. In many ways, I represent an America that is dying and passing off into the past. I'm not ready to kick yet. Don't get me wrong. I'm full of life. That's not the point. I happen to believe, though, that when my generation goes, you're going to fall into 1,000 years of darkness because the next generation, for some reason, there was a disconnect with reality. Something went wrong, and I don't know what it is. It's not like we're great and, they're no good. But for them to not see what's going on, for them to sit here worshiping a non-entity like Barack Hussein Obama, not understanding who he is and what he's doing to them, makes me sick. It makes me cringe. I don't blame the media. We know what the media is. The media think was any better 30, 40 years ago. What, Walter Krankenhaus, who you know as Walter Cronkite, who shot the troops in the back in Vietnam? It was Walter Cronkite who destroyed the boys in Vietnam. Him and Henry Kissinger, as far as I'm concerned, should be tried for war crimes. What do I mean by the fact that Walter Cronkite shot the boys in the back? I'll go all the way back to Vietnam, the Tet Offensive. The Vietnamese tried everything they had, and they lost. They actually lost during the Tet Offensive. They lost on the military playing field. But Walter Cronkite, a long-time wobbly leftist, came up from Vietnam with his flak jacket and said, basically, the war is over and we lost. He destroyed the American military. He shot the boys in the back, in my opinion. Then you had the two-faced Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger was basically working deals behind the back of our men in Vietnam as they were being crippled and shot. It was Henry Kissinger who did it. And Henry Kissinger is now making a fortune, and he has been for 10 years, doing deals with communist China. All while you're standing here and looking at these dumb microcephalics in the media. You don't even know what's going on in front of your eyes.